What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Natal Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be continuing with our Pluto through houses series, and we'll be discussing Pluto in the 6th house. So, let's get into it. What's Pluto? Pluto is the soul itself. It's the psyche of the soul, the desires that emanate from the soul, as well as the situations in which the soul is placed that triggers its transformation and evolution. The 6th house. The 6th house is the house of health. It's the house of our everyday routines. It deals with self-improvement. It's the original house of Virgo. And, it deals with a lot of things. I feel like this is where legends are made. Particularly within the earth signs, but definitely with Virgo. Okay, so if you've followed my channel for a while and you've seen me do other series, you know that the transition from Leo into Virgo, then from Virgo into Libra, is very significant. So what you need to know about Pluto in the 6th house is that this is a soul that is coming into this incarnation with a deep need to improve itself. It's very much so aware of what it didn't do well or accomplish within its past lives. Okay? So you should do this for all Pluto placements, which is assess the whole chart, but more specifically for this position. But you want to look at the sun, because the sun is going to show you where you excel easily, where you're going to shine, okay? What makes you feel purposeful. You want to look at the moon. The moon is going to give you insight into, the situations and conditions that you were dealing with in past lives. And always the aspects tell a deeper story, okay? So, and then if you have planets in the 12th house, that deals with karma as well. But for this placement, Pluto in the 6th house specifically, like I said, it deals with self-improvement, and that is the chief evolutionary goal of the soul here, and is to improve, okay, and also to humble oneself and be able to work with others in the world around them more effectively going forward, okay, because we're transitioning from the bottom half of the chart to the upper half, okay? So the soul is here to become humble. So they're going to be placed in situations that force them to be that way. But your South Node is going to assist you in terms of self-improvement, all right? And I'm going to dial back to that. I just want to get a couple things out the way with this particular position. So Pluto in the 6th house gives, because of the nature of the 6th house, and this being the original house of Virgo, it tends to give the individual a lot of nervous energy, and it activates that inner perfectionist. So what we can have here is souls who are very much so hard on themselves, and they're analyzing their environment, but more importantly, they're analyzing themselves to see what they need to do better. So these are those students, like those children who, especially if they come from a home where academics is pushed, where a C- is like the end of the world. They take that very hard, okay? And that develops into just being hard on themselves and striving for perfection in everything they do. And as they get older, their shortcomings turns into feelings of guilt, okay? And like I said, people with this position really need a lot of encouragement coming from home, okay? Like this naturally sextiles the 4th house, so what they learn at home can kind of diffuse that inner perfection that they're achieving. So these people will do well like laid back partners, laid back parents, okay? People who don't reinforce the things that they're doing to themselves internally. But continuing with this attitude of guilt, okay? What happens here, I've seen it many times, and understand, like I said, it's the psyche of the soul. Through your guilt, you feel as though you aren't good enough or you're undeserving of the things that you actually want. And in turn, the person with Pluto in the 6th actually psychs themselves out from manifesting or reaching the potential that they want to, because it's like almost like, just imagine you're writing an essay and you keep writing the paragraphs, and then you go and say, no, this isn't good enough, and you crumple it up. You never finish. Okay? So my first major piece of advice here is to be kinder to yourself and accept your flaws. Remember, you have flaws because you need to humble yourself. The more you can accept the flaws within yourself, the easier it's going to be to accept the flaws within others and assist you in life and incarnations going forward. Okay? So it's really, really important. Be kind to yourself. Okay? So then with the going back to what I said before about the aspect of self-improvement and tapping into the South Node, right? Let's say we have Pluto in the 6th house in Leo, okay, and a South Node in Capricorn. Leo deals with the expansion, or Pluto and Leo in the 6th house would be dealing with the expansion of one's individuality or creative talent. So that reads, on an everyday basis, you need to be working to perfect your creative talent and and your sense of self, right? Now, how the South Node in Capricorn can assist you is that it shows you've mastered in previous lives the ability to create structures, to achieve things. So rather than being an artist who just does art for the sake of doing it for the love, you're someone who knows that, like, okay, there's a business component that I need to add to it. Okay, so you infuse that structure into your artistry. I'll give it another example. Let's say we have Pluto in the 6th house, right, in Scorpio. And this is the health aspect of the 6th house. And something happens where, you find out you could be like diabetic or, some type of health ailment. And let's say your South Node is in Gemini. Rather than just accepting the diagnosis like, oh wow, something's wrong with me, I don't know what I'm going to do next, you tap into your South Node, this natural knack that you have for learning, okay, and you learn all about your ailment or how to improve that ailment, how to overcome it, right? And then in turn, you empower yourself through the learning and then possibly end up teaching others as well, becoming an advocate for the situation in which you were placed in. Okay? Now that I just mentioned is a key component of how Pluto itself manifests. Okay? Think about the drug addict who turns into a drug counselor. Okay? So tap into your South Node to help propel your self-improvement as well as your sun. Okay, so everything I said for the South Node can also be said towards your sun, which is going to come a lot easier, and you're more likely to get notoriety for that. Okay, so I just talked about health, and depending on a lot of different factors in your chart, you can likely in childhood have a lot of health problems. Okay, even things to do with like your skin. Okay, say there's like you have like, I don't know, a square to like Saturn or something. This can even cause like really bad acne. It's just something in which, like I said before, life humbles you, or you recognize like, I am flawed. But the goal here is to work towards overcoming those flaws and ultimately just accepting them. All right? Another thing, about Pluto in the 6th house is that the desire to be of service is strong here. It is the need to be useful. And this is part of like the humbling process and learning how to engage with others. You need to find balance between yourself and the service you provide. What happens here is these people are normally late bloomers in life. Early on in life, because of the pressure they put on themselves and situations that they've been placed in, they become kind of like a pushover or people pleasers, right? And they're capable of a lot more. They're this makes you a very efficient, detail-oriented person if you're willing to recognize that and consciously project. So even with this position, say you have Leo energy within your chart, okay, or even 5th house energy, that shows you're actually meant to lead within this lifetime. But it's up to you to understand or activate your leadership qualities. So don't be a pushover, or don't be a people pleaser. Find the balance between that. Okay. So ultimately, this is one of the more psychological placements. Okay. Original house of Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Obviously, whatever sign you have it in that placement is going to dictate a lot of things. But it's about self-analysis and then improving that. Not just I'm this, I'm that, I'm not good enough. No, but okay, this is a problem. How can I solve it? That's essentially what, the 6th house in Virgo is about. Being problem solvers. Okay? But could be really, if say there's energy with like in the 3rd house or the 9th house, this can show someone who would be a great writer. More like self-help books. Like I mentioned previously, like you show others through your own self-improvement, you help others improve. Okay? There's a need to be of service, but don't just be of service to be of service. Make sure it's benefiting you, okay, as much as is benefiting others. That way it doesn't add to that sense of like, okay, I'm not fulfilling my potential or doing what makes me happy. All right? So y'all, this is my interpretation of Pluto in the 6th house. If you have this position, feel free, chime in, let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so. Until next time, peace.